What is good, Josh? I'm the Smooth Game Man, back with yet another reaction video, baby. And today we are back with some more anime on the channel, some more Naruto. I gotta let me know if y'all want other anime on the channel. We definitely can. I gotta let y'all know this too. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into the rest of the intro stuff, I just finished Kuroko's basketball and like everything, all 3 seasons, the last movie and everything, bro. When I tell you I was almost in tears with how that thing ended, and I'm so sad that that thing is gone. And I was thinking about like saying like, oh, bring like a season 4 to keep it going. The things I wanted to see in season 4 happened in the movie, and then the way the movie ended, yeah, I don't think we're getting. I don't think any more of that show's coming back. I think that thing gone. But one of these days, I gotta make a top list. So like, if y'all want me to like list out my top 5 and top 10 animes and give an explanation why, that could be my first anime video. Like that's just all specifically me and my topics. I don't mind to do that at all for you guys. If you guys want to see it, just comment it down below and let me know. So outside of that though, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn that bell on so you guys can know when new videos are going live. Me and my boy Naruto rocking out again today. You see Itachi's eye over there too, chilling. This is how I would change the tailed beast from, I don't know what his last name is, but it's Nick Hammer or something like that. I don't know. Link to the original video will be down below in the description. Go show him some love too as well. He makes great anime videos, especially when it comes to Naruto content. I haven't watched the other anime videos, I'll be honest, because Naruto's like, there will never be, I promise y'all, there will never be an anime in existence. I will put my life that'll ever take Naruto to my top spot. I've rewatched Naruto, all 1,000 episodes, all movies, all fillers. I watched every filler. I do not skip the fillers. I barely skip the intros and outros. And I've watched the whole thing from start to finish at least 5 to 6 times. And I'm trying to do it again. So please, if you are out there, you haven't seen Naruto yet, you trying to get put on, come watch it with me. So I have a reason to start over from the beginning, again. You know what I'm saying? Without making myself do it again. Because I really do gotta catch up on other. That's why I haven't watched as many animes overall. But it's just too good. To me, it's just too good personally. But let me know your guys' favorite anime down below. All that being said though, let's go ahead and jump straight to the music video here. If you guys want more gaming content or need more smooth content, head over to Smooth Guy Gang. We got gaming content over there for you guys. But which I should probably put some anime gaming content up there. I'll think about it one day. Y'all let me know if you want to see it.
Decisions in anime. Sometimes we wish we could change them, and sometimes they're perfect. But regardless of whether or not we like the decisions made by some of the most important characters in some of our favorite animes, they have consequences. And there's no place that's more true than animes with expansive universes. A decision made by a character 400 years prior to the timeline of the anime we're watching can have massive repercussions in the anime. Goldie Roger conquering the Grand Line and finding the One Piece and then dying of a sickness is what spurred on the era of pirates. Asta's mom deciding to adopt a devil she randomly found is what spurred the creation of the strongest person in the Black.
Damn. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not finished Black Clover. I'm about 50, 60 episodes deep. See, look, I be trying to juggle too much, bro. I just finished Kuroko's basketball. I was trying to juggle that with this, and then obviously Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and all that stuff. My Hero Academia and all that stuff just came out with new seasons, so I gotta watch those to catch all the way back up to normal with those, and then come right back to Black Clover. But that's an interesting way. I've never seen him look like that though yet. Like I said, I'm still at part 53, so I still haven't even met his mom. But I assume that's probably what it was. That he just had affinity for darkness, but then like got raised up really good.
Clover universe. But to me, at least, it feels as though there is no other anime or manga out there that has as many important decisions made prior to the timeline than Naruto. See, the Naruto universe as a universe is one of the oldest in anime, spanning over the course of thousands of years. We had the decision by Kaguya to descend down to the earth and jump Ishiki, one to eat the chakra fruit for herself. Her decision to get knocked up by a man by the name of Tenza and have 2 children, Hagoromo and Hamura. Hagoromo and Hamura's decision to battle against Kaguya and seal her away. Hagoromo's decision to have 2 children, Indra and Ashura, who would reincarnate every single generation so they could continue to battle against each other. And one of those reincarnations of Ashura, Hashirama, had a lot of very important decisions to make in his lifetime. Maybe the most important of which being, what do we do with these tailed beasts? See, if you followed this page for any amount of time, or have simply just watched and or read Naruto, you'll know that Hashirama collected 8 out of the 9 tailed beasts and decided to give them away to the other villages. He did this because Madara bumped into Kurama while pouting in the woods and decided to use Kurama to battle against Hashirama, which introduced Hashirama to the concept of tailed beasts, who up until this moment were kind of just ignored or simply not known about. See, Hagoromo purposely created all of the tailed beasts and placed them in areas where they were well suited. Isobu, a turtle, was placed in a swamp. Shukaku, a tanuki that is made out of sand was placed in the desert, and so on and so forth. However, Hashirama, like the big game, not hunter, but collector that he is, decided to wrangle up all of these tailed beasts and get them all under one roof. That is, until, of course, he decided to sell all of these tailed beasts to the other 4 ninja villages in order to make sure that everybody had weapons, so hopefully we don't use them against each other. It didn't work. But what if Hashirama had chosen different? See, the placement of all of these tailed beasts has always felt somewhat arbitrary to me. Some are arguably the correct decision, while others are weird. What if Hashirama, instead of simply wanting to sell off the tailed beasts to the other villages in order to acquire peace, actually sat down and thought about what tailed beasts work with what clan or what person? What I'm driving at here is, what if instead of the actual tailed beast layout that we got in Naruto, it was switched up to be its most efficient? Kind of like the saying that a dog always matches its owner. What if the tailed beasts matched theirs? See, this is an interesting topic because obviously the tailed beasts were modeled after the certain areas they were placed in. However, some of those tailed beasts got displaced, meaning they ended up in villages or clans that they weren't well suited to, which is what we're going to try and fix today. Because today we're talking who should have what tailed beast. Before we get to talking about any beasts,
and let me know down below. This is gonna be our question too, because we're gonna try to do more of react. We're gonna see if there's anything we disagree with, right? Let me know down below what tail beast you would immediately switch. Obviously, the one that we've heard in the previous video, and I think even teased right there. I think the ones that's probably would probably be the most agreed upon was that the Aburame clan should have had the 7 tails just passed through the lineage, and that's one of the ones that makes the most sense. And then obviously, I feel like Kurama going through the Uzumakis would make the most sense too as well, since they have massive chakras. I feel like those are the only 2 that you could probably say unarguably. I think everybody's cool with. We'll see what he says about the other 7.
Be they tailed or not, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. If you've been following the page for a while, you'll know that I'm kind of a beast myself, at least when it comes to making content, because I have another channel called The Weeb Commander, where I talk about all anime that aren't Naruto or Boruto. You should follow. However, the content train doesn't stop there, because I also have an anime podcast known as Otaku's Anonymous, where me and Danny Mata break down everything that happened in anime this week. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So, diplomacy. It's tough. It's an uphill battle. It's really hard to be diplomatic when everybody else wants war. Which is why I think we can give Hashirama a pass here. He wasn't sitting down with a vision board envisioning what tailed beast would be best for who. He was trying to make sure that every single village had equal power. So if you give the 8 tails, which is the second strongest tailed beast of the Land of Lightning, we have to give them a second tailed beast that's weaker, which is why they got the 2 tails. Matatabi. But if we're going to keep the strongest tailed beast, we probably shouldn't give ourselves a second one, and so on and so forth. He wanted to make sure that all of the hidden villages were as comfortable with each other as possible. Mutually assured destruction and all that. But today, you and me don't have to worry about peace. I mean, in a grand global sense, we probably have to worry about peace, but not within the Naruto universe. But regardless, as a premise, this video is kind of tough to tackle, because while I could absolutely find an individual person that works perfectly for every tailed beast, not all of those people were alive during Hashirama's era. So do I tackle this video as a hypothetical about what Hashirama could have done better, or just as a hypothetical of where the tailed beast should be? Well, I've decided I'm actually going to take it case by case. And in worst case scenario, I'll tell you what I believe Hashirama should have done and who I believe the tailed beast would be best suited with in any time point in the Naruto universe. Got it? Good. The best part about talking about the tailed beasts is they're in order. So obviously we're going to be starting with the one tail, Shukaku. See, Shukaku was kind of an anomaly on this list because Shukaku's placement wasn't up to Hashirama. Like I stated in the beginning of the video, Hashirama caught 8 out of 9 tailed beasts. Now, the reason that Hashirama only caught 8 out of the 9 tailed beasts is because the first Kazekage, Redo, actually caught Shukaku. Now, we're not entirely sure whether or not Redo caught Shukaku by himself or if he had help, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is that by the time that the first 5 Kage Summit came around, the Hidden Sand already owned a tailed beast. And because of this, Redo actually wanted 30% of all of the sales that Hashirama was going to make upselling the tailed beasts. Now, he doesn't end up getting this because he caught the weakest tailed beast, and that's not really a great bargaining chip when the person selling tailed beasts has 8 tailed beasts, all of which are stronger than yours. That is, of course, if you're operating on the assumption that tailed beasts get stronger by the amount of tails they have, which is slightly corroborated by the fact that the 9 tails is the strongest and the 8 tails is the second strongest, but that's basically all we have for evidence. Well, because of the fact that Shukaku wasn't caught by Hashirama, he kind of falls into the category of He's right where he belongs. See, Shukaku was placed in the desert where the hidden sand village was created by Hagoromo, because Shukaku was made out of sand. In fact, he's the only tailed beast who isn't made out of like flesh and blood. He's made out of an element, which makes him absolutely perfect for the hidden sand, especially if we consider the fact that magnet release might hail from the hidden sand. So we know for a fact that Shimon and the third Kazekage both studied Shukaku in order to crack the code of his magnet release. That is to say, Shukaku's ability to control sand. And obviously the third Kazekage, who had magnet release and was able to control iron sand, cracked the code. That leaves us with the somewhat logical question, did the hidden sand have magnet release before Shukaku? Because obviously one of the biggest talking points in saying that Shukaku belongs to the hidden sand is that magnet release is there already, and therefore the magnet release tailed beast should be with the magnet release people. However, a good amount of evidence stacks up that magnet release didn't exist in the hidden sand until Shukaku, except for the fact that Redo caught Shukaku. See, we don't know Redo's abilities at all, but what we do know are Rasa's abilities. And we know that Rasa had a magnet release that allowed him to control gold dust, which is heavier than sand, and therefore by incorporating his gold dust into Shukaku's body, he could weigh him down and seal him. Now, if we're working on the Tails model, once again, Shukaku is the weakest tailed beast. Therefore, there could be a myriad of ways that Redo, who's the strongest person in the region, was able to bring all of the nomadic tribes of the hidden sand area under one roof and create the hidden sand village, could have possibly defeated Shukaku and sealed him away. However, the most likely way that he did seal away Shukaku was magnet release. But also at the same time, it could have something to do with the pot that we see Shukaku sealed in when he was sealed in there with his first Jinchuriki, Bunpuku. But regardless of all of this, whether or not Shukaku was the thing that taught magnet release to the hidden sand village, or if it existed there already, matters is that Shukaku was able to teach Gaara at least how to control sand, something that had never been done before. And being able to control sand in the desert and being able to teach other people how to control sand in the desert is important. And it's not something that Shukaku could have done anywhere else. So Shukaku belongs exactly where he is. Now, there is technically going to be other tailed beasts on this list that do kind of belong where they currently are, but not nearly as well as Shukaku belongs in the hidden sand. But coming up at our number 2 spot, we have a tailed beast, Matatabi, who absolutely does not belong where they are. See, Matatabi, for those of you who don't know, is a fire cat. I guess I lied earlier when I said Shukaku was the only tailed beast not made out of flesh and blood. Matatabi is quite literally made out of fire. Now, Matatabi's only known Jinchuriki is Yugito, who hails from the hidden lightning. And while obviously Yugito played a massive role in Killer Bee's life and allowed him to foster a relationship with Gyuki, the fire cat being in the land of lightning makes zero sense whatsoever. Once again, I understand the logic here. You have to send 2 tailed beasts to all of the other villages, and for some reason, 1 to the hidden waterfall. If you're going to send the hidden lightning the 8 tails, which is the second strongest tailed beast, besides the one that Konoha was keeping for themselves, you gotta send the weakest one that we have in our deck, the 2 tails. But I would argue that Matatabi shouldn't have gone anywhere. Matatabi is a fire cat. Matatabi should have absolutely stayed in the land of fire. And more specifically than that, Matatabi shouldn't have only just stayed in the land of fire, aka Konoha. She should have gone to the Uchiha. One could make an argument that Matatabi should have gone to the Sarutobi.
I will agree with that. I mean, like he's probably about to explain here in a second. I want to say it first, just so I can look like it came from me. Shinju definitely had fire release, but so did the Uchiha. The Uchiha, I don't know if you guys ever saw it because it's a filler episode, have a direct correlation to cats. There's a cat lady that Itachi goes to see to get his medicine. And I think there was the episode that showed it to him was Itachi as a kid going there? I don't think it was Sasuke. But I think Sasuke's been there before. So yeah, they have some type of relation. I can't remember the exact relationship you might say here in the video, but they have a relation with cats. So that would make sense.
A much more trustworthy fire-based clan in Konoha. I have the Sarutobi later on this list, and for better reason. Not only are the Uchiha known across the globe for their fire release, which complement perfectly with Matatabi's fireballs, the Uchihas themselves have been often compared to cats, being stealthy, perfect assassins. I mean, the show went so far as to give Itachi cat ears in one of the cutest moments in anime history. In fact, if you want to take the Uchiha lineage one step further, we can talk about the arc where Itachi had to put the cat ears on, where Itachi had to go to a store run by a woman by the name of Nekoba, who ran a supply store that the Uchiha clan used frequently. And Itachi was involved in getting a paw print of Matatabi in the Paw Encyclopedia run by Nekoba. What a completely insane filler arc. You know what's funny? The Naruto showrunners realized the same thing that I realized, and it's just, if you put Itachi in it, people will watch it. But if you don't like the connection between the Uchiha's flames and Matatabi's flames and the cat-like appearances of Itachi and the rest of the Uchiha, Matatabi, if not with the Uchiha, still should have definitely stayed in Konoha. Why do I say this? There is an entire ninja cat clan in Konoha. In fact, that abandoned city where Nekoba lives that the Uchiha used to go to for supplies actually exists in canon, Konoha Hiden. And in that city, there's various Ninneko, or ninja cats that protect the entire city, some of which wear forehead protectors with a kanji for truth or sincerity on it. And there's a clan in Konoha with a connection to these ninja cats, the Izuno, who we learned about through a character in Boruto, Wasabi Izuno. See, Wasabi has the ability to manifest chakra ears, claws, and tail that give her cat-like appearance and abilities. But to go even further beyond this, Wasabi has the ability to summon a cat Susanoo. I wish I was kidding. And this is an ability that's been passed down through her family for generations. So if you don't want to give Matatabi to the Uchiha, give it to the Izuno. And just figured you would like the Uchiha answer more. Because what's the rule, ladies and gentlemen? If you put Itachi in it, they'll watch it. Coming up at number 3, we have the Three Tails, Isobu. Isobu is another case of kind of in the right place. Isobu is modeled after a snapping turtle. He has the ability to cover whatever he touches in barnacles, and he's incredibly proficient in water release. Him ending up in the Hidden Mist Village just makes sense. And that's where Hagoromo put him in the first place, so good job, Hashirama. However, if I'm Hashirama and I'm not concerned about peace whatsoever, I'm looking to the person right beside me. See, by far the most, if not one of the most talented water ninjutsu users of all time was Hashirama's brother, Tobirama. He was able to use the water dragon jutsu with one hand sign, something that took the likes of Zabuza and Kakashi 44. His water release was so powerful, he was said to be able to cover entire battlefields with water he could control. And he was able to generate water ninjutsu where there was no clear and obvious source of water around him. When it comes to water ninjutsu, he is top 1, if not top 2. If we're gonna give the snapping turtle with insane water ninjutsu prowess to anybody, probably should have been our brother. With Tobirama's intellect, he probably would have been able to pull off more with the Jinchuriki cloak than any other Jinchuriki in history. I mean, the man created 3 jutsus that are still very much used at a high level today. If you had given him an entirely different avenue to study different kinds of power, who knows what he would have accomplished. Outside of that, if he had his own Jinchuriki cloak, you better believe he would have mopped up Kinkaku and Ginkaku. And as a Senju who created 2 of the most complicated sealing jutsus in history, because Flying Raijin is technically kind of a sealing jutsu, and Edo Tensei definitely is. I have no hesitation in my mind that Tobirama could have very easily sealed Isobu inside of himself. Tie that into the fact that his sister-in-law was an Uzumaki who could have taught him the 8-trigram seal, and that feels like a relatively obvious choice. However, if you do want to send Isobu to the Hidden Mist, then I have a better answer than just the likes of Yagura. I mean, obviously, Yagura was incredibly talented, and therefore he became one of the deadliest Jinchuriki in history, a perfect Jinchuriki that almost killed Itachi and killed Itachi's partner Juzo. But I think there's a clan outside of Yagura that's actually more important to bolster in the history of the Hidden Mist. That would be the Hozuki clan. We know of 3 Hozukis: Mangetsu, Gengetsu, and Suigetsu. With Suigetsu and Mangetsu being the 2 brothers who wanted to use all 7 of the 7 swords of the mist, and Gengetsu Hozuki being the 2nd Hokage, who was brought back during the 4th Great Shinobi World War. And the Hozuki clan are kind of like royalty in the Hidden Mist, because they have one of the most powerful water release jutsus of all time: hydrification, which is a hidden jutsu, a jutsu passed down specifically through the Hozuki clan that allows them to liquidate parts of their body to make sure any physical harm doesn't actually come their way. It's Kamui without the blindness. Now, if you combined the chakra pool of Isobu with some of the innate abilities of the Hozuki clan members, like Suigetsu and Mangetsu's Kenjutsu ability, or Gengetsu's ability to summon a giant clam that disperses mist that puts everybody who inhales it under Genjutsu, you would have some of the most terrifying ninjas, well, in Naruto history, period. And while I don't believe that either Suigetsu or Mangetsu would have lived up to the hype of Yagura, I definitely believe that Gengetsu would have surpassed him, which is why, if not Tobirama, the Hozuki. Moving on to our number 4 spot, we have the Four Tails, Son Goku, known as the King of the Sage Apes, the wielder of lava release. Now, Son Goku's placement kind of makes sense. See, Son Goku was placed in a place with a lot of waterfalls by Hagoromo to keep an eye over all the apes. It's more of a foresty vibe, and therefore him ending up in the Land of Stone is kind of inaccurate. However, when you take into consideration the fact that he had lava release, which obviously requires a lot of rocks, it's not the worst placement for him. Better than him being somewhere like the Hidden Mist. But remember how I said I had the Sarutobi somewhere else on this list with better reasoning? Yeah, that's here. See, if you're going to use the rationale that lava requires rocks, you could also use the rationale that lava requires fire. And in fact, I would argue that lava needs more fire than rocks. But it's probably 50-50. But here's the thing. Son Goku is by far one of the community's favorite tailed beasts. However, he has one of the more forgettable Jinchuriki. See, Son Goku was in Roshi from the Hidden Stone, whose entire life accomplishments pretty much sum up to slightly burning Naruto's forearm. And that's kind of it. So I can't help but think that there's a clan out there, specifically a clan in the land of fire, that's better suited for Son Goku. And since we've already used the Uchihas, that clan would obviously be the Sarutobi, who, just like the Uchihas, are known around the world for their incredibly powerful fire release. In fact, it was the Sarutobi clan in the 4th Great Shinobi World War that was responsible for drawing the quicklime that was holding the Ten Tails. The Sarutobi clan are one of the oldest and most trusted clans in Konoha, being the first clan to join Konoha after the merging of the Senju and the Uchiha. But outside of being incredibly proficient in fire release, there's also another connection to Son Goku from the Sarutobi. The standing connection they already have with monkeys. Son Goku is referred to as the handsome Monkey King, and obviously he's based off of Sun Wukong, who was King of the Monkeys. But you know who else was based off of Sun Wukong? Monkey King Enma, who was heroes in Summon, and proved that the Sarutobis had a long-standing connection with summonable monkeys, who may or may not be related to Son Goku in the first place. I mean, they're probably not related, considering the fact that Son Goku is a chakra construct created by Hagoromo, and that these monkeys that are summonable by the Sarutobi have probably been around for as long as Earth has, but they probably know each other. Is that specious? Anyway, if we have a clan well known for their fire release and their connection to monkeys, why wouldn't we give them the king of the sage monkeys? Pass down Son Goku through the generations of the Sarutobis, and eventually he'll end up in the hands of Hiruzen, who with his intellect and massive roster of ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu super boosted by the chakra connection to being a Jinchuriki to Son Goku, and adding lava release in there, absolutely would have killed Orochimaru. Tie that into the fact that we could get Monkey King Enma and Son Goku bantering about who's the real king of the monkeys. It's perfect, but not as perfect as our number 5 entry, because coming up at number 5, we have the Five Tails, Kukyo. Kukyo's appearance is confusing. Kukyo is supposed to be the combination of a horse and a dolphin, but honestly, when it comes down to the biggest similarity that I see between Kukyo and any real-world animal is a deer. 4 legs like a horse, a body like a horse, and horns, usually a deer. This is kind of backed up by the fact that Hagoromo decided to place Kukyo in a foresty area. And where that foresty area is, we don't really know. However, we can speculate based on the fact that Kukyo has boil release, which Han, her Jinchuriki, who hails from the Hidden Stone, is able to use. See, Han uses the boil release of Kukyo to supercharge his muscles, essentially. He uses the boil release to superheat his chakra and make himself the fastest practitioner of taijutsu on Earth, on the same Earth, in the same timeline as Might Guy, mind you. On top of this, he's also able to use the steam generated from this boil release to burn people. But once again, Kukyo ending up in the Land of Stone doesn't make any sense to me, especially when you consider the 2 components required to make boil release: fire and water. Why would she end up in the Land of Stone? Now, obviously, Han is very powerful and makes very good use of her power, but I have a couple of better options for Kukyo. And honestly, she's the one I'm the least sure of, so I'll let you choose what's best. If Kukyo is, in fact, believed to be a deer, she should be with the Nara. See, the Nara and Naruto are actually named after a region in Japan. About 30 or 40 minutes north of Kyoto, there's a park known as Nara Park, where deer kind of coexist with humans. And these deer are fed and learn how to bow and are actually viewed as holy animals, kind of like how Hinduism views cows as holy animals. And therefore, the Nara clan in Naruto watch over a forest known as Nara Forest, where the deer in the Land of Fire live, specifically because they take the horns of these deers to use in medicine. In Japanese homeopathic medicine, the antlers of deers are said to have healing properties. And this is actually why the Nara clan created the shadow release jutsu in the first place, so they could stop the deers and take their horns. Outside of the Nara, because obviously Kukyo may or may not be a deer, I think the Kukyo should have been placed in the Land of Hot Water. The Land of Hot Water is kind of a tourist trap. It's an area with a ton of hot springs that a lot of people from all across the Naruto continent go to relax. It had a hidden village for a couple of decades, however decided to get rid of it when they realized they didn't need ninjas, which is what made Hidan really mad and kind of sent him on his murderous little streak there. Not only would Kukyo being in the Land of Hot Water bolster the Land of Hot Water's military might, but also geographically would just make the most sense for her. And then outside of the Land of Hot Water, there's also just giving her to any user a boil release like May, the 5th Mizukage. However, she wasn't alive during Hashirama's time. Obviously, if she was able to superpower her own boil release by combining it with Kukyo's, it would be absolutely insane. Especially when we consider the fact that without this super boosting, she was able to melt Sasuke's Susanoo ribcage. After the 5 tails, we have the 6 tails, the most...
That's where I'll interject here again. I would personally say, I mean, it's kind of biased. It seems like so far we're giving a lot of these to Leaf. But I mean, come on, antlers and everything like that. I mean, if it wasn't a deer, it's gonna be like a rhino or something. I don't know. But Give it to the Nara.
Most forgotten tailed beast out of all of them, Saiken. See, Saiken is actually kind of why I rally against the idea that Shukaku is the weakest tailed beast. Saiken is just genuinely unimpressive. Saiken also falls into the categorization of kind of in the right place. See, Saiken's abilities allow her to create bubbles, or toxic sludge that melts anything she touches. On top of this, Saiken is incredibly well versed in water release, and therefore, since she is a slug and all of her abilities are either based off bubbles, ooze, or water release, her being in the hidden mist kind of makes sense. You could also argue that she would be a really good match for the Hozuki clan, whose hydrification technique also kind of makes them ooze-based. But we already used the Hozuki, so we'll just say that somebody in the Hidden Mist gets her. Outside of the Hidden Mist, there's also the fact that she is a slug. And there's a sage area in Naruto known as Shikatsu Forest where sage slugs live, which is where Lady Katsuyo lives. Therefore, I would argue if you were going to take Saiken out of the Hidden Mist, you should pair her with anybody with a connection to Shikatsu Forest, which would be people like Tsunade, or Sakura, or even possibly Hashirama. I believe Hashirama was a slug sage. And therefore, for a reason very similar to the reason that the Sarutobis would get Son Goku, you could have a connection between the tailed beast and the summoning animal of the person with the connection to Shikatsu Forest. But enough about Saiken. I don't want to talk about her. She's boring. You know who I do want to talk about, however? The Seven Tails. Probably the most slept on out of all of the tailed beasts. The only tailed beast that can fly. Yes, that's right. At number 7, we have Chome, whose placement in the Land of Waterfalls is perplexing for a myriad of reasons. I mean, it's not that perplexing. The Hidden Sand pretty much all but denied all tailed beasts, and therefore they had to find somewhere to send the odd tailed beast, because it wasn't like Hashirama was going to send 3 tailed beasts to one of the other 3 ninja villages that was willing to pay for tailed beasts. And also I have a theory that Hashirama respected the strength of the hidden waterfall after fighting against Kakuzu, and therefore decided to bring them to the table by selling Chome to them. But regardless of how it happened, Chome being at the hidden waterfall is weird. Well, he's based off of a rhino beetle. As to why he would end up in the Land of Waterfalls, it just doesn't make sense to me. Could I see Gyuki there? Sure. Could I see Isobu there? Sure. Could I see Kukyo there? Because apparently she's part dolphin. Sure. But the rhino beetle? Why? You know where I could see the rhino beetle, however? Once again, in Konoha. The Aburame are an incredibly old clan and have been with Konoha probably as long as Konoha has been around. The reason I'm making sure that point is clear is because Hashirama probably knew some Aburame. And he wasn't like, oh yeah, let's not give the bug-tailed beast to the people who control bugs. As to whether or not their techniques actually line up at all, it just makes sense aesthetically. Sure, one can make the argument, what does an Aburame need a tailed beast cloak for? They're technically all assassins, and we've never really seen any of them run out of chakra, because their chakra is correlated to how many bugs they have. Therefore, why would we need a super boosted chakra version of an assassin who uses bugs to attack from a mile away? Sure, yeah, that's a great line of logic. It's absolutely flawless, except for the fact that if there's a bug-tail beast, it's gotta be with the bug people. Come on! You tell me you don't want to see Shino with Fu's wings just flapping around shooting bugs at people like he's Iron Man? Sure, it's not conducive to how Aburame's fight at all. But Shino's never lost the battle. Imagine if he had one of the strongest tailed beasts backing him up. Fu is technically the least perfect Jinchuriki we've ever seen. And yet all of her feats are still relatively impressive. I know the fighting styles don't match up, but I still want it. I'm a simple man. But let's get back to logic here, because coming in at our number 8.
I thought we should all want that though. Like, let me know down below if you like that. That just does not make sense. Like, no way possible. But like, Shino with the 7 tails would have been crazy, especially like the paint art, bro. Just imagine him and Naruto just going to like Gen 2, just going to like the tail beast chakra straight where they're all red with the tail spreading out. Like, I mean, it would have been cold. Like, this really would have supercharged Konoha. If he had really left him, he just like told a couple places like. So what, we've got, we really only got like 2 tailed beasts in another village, basically, at this point. Like, everywhere else is like, okay, this is a perfect fit for you here in Konoha. So, if we really thought about it, I'm pretty sure all these tailed beasts could fit with a different clan within Konoha, but.
8th spot, we have Gyuki. How did the octopus end up in the Land of Lightning? Gyuki, like the rest of the tailed beasts, is a loose amalgamation of a bunch of different types of animals. He is half octopus, half bull. However, outside of tailed beast bombs and just being strong as hell and also having hordes, Gyuki uses ink. Whether that be an ink clone, using ink to cover his opponent's eyes, using ink to escape a battle, he uses ink like a regular octopus, which falls into the categorization of water release. So why is he in the Land of Lightning? I don't know. The real line of logic would tell you that the Land of Lightning is the second strongest village outside of Konoha, and therefore they should have the second strongest tailed beast. But Gyuki is more agile in water. He's an incredibly fast swimmer. He has 8 tentacles, mind you. Why would we place him someplace so far from water? The hidden cloud is hidden in the clouds. It's on a mountaintop. Why wouldn't we send him to the hidden mist? I know what you're saying.
Nick, you're sending so many tailed beasts to the hidden mist.
It's not my fault. It's the only village associated with water.
But Nick, there's already Seiken chilling in the hidden mist. The Hozuki already have their tailed beast in Isobu. Who in the hidden mist would you give Gyuki to?
Well, Gyuki is canonically the most unyielding of all of the tailed beasts, the hardest to control. Nobody outside of Killer Bee could ever become a Jinchuriki for him in a lasting fashion. Who do I think would be able to handle Gyuki in the first place? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the Hoshigaki? Now listen, technically we're not even entirely sure if the Hoshigaki have always existed as a clan in the Hidden Mist. We only know about Kisame and then the other one that came in Boruto. But what we do know about both of these members of the Hoshigaki clan is that they both have shark-like appearances and are both very powerful, as both of them were selected to be wielders of Samehada, something that is not easy to do. It's mostly due to the fact that they have massive chakra reserves, to the degree that Kisame himself was referred to as a tailless tailed beast. And mind you, Kisame is the 4th strongest person in the Akatsuki, which is no small feat. And as Kisame is basically part shark or full shark towards the end there, he is also much more agile in the water. So if he is able to combine the powers of a shark and an octopus and make a Sharktopus, which is an actual movie, you should watch it, it's horrific, he would have been probably the strongest person in the universe. I mean, Kisame getting Gyuki is basically Naruto. Insane chakra pool meets incredibly powerful tailed beast. Like, he would give Naruto a legitimate run for his money. Once again, Gyuki being around water as an octopus makes way more sense. Not to mention, we already know that Samehada is incredibly fond of Gyuki's chakra, as Killer Bee was the wielder of Samehada for a couple of months. And therefore, if Kisame was the Jinchuriki of Gyuki, he would have been even more proficient with Samehada. But enough about the Sharktopus, guys. We gotta talk about our number 9 spot. Because coming in at number 9, we have Kurama. You saw it coming. See, Kurama was obviously placed in the Land of Fire by Hagoromo. That's how Madara bumped into him. Kurama is pretty much the only one out of all of the tailed beasts who is an amalgamation of a bunch of different creatures. Kurama is modeled after a kitsune, a 9-tailed fox. Now, kitsune are yokai, which are supernatural entities from Japanese mythology. Supernatural entities that have godlike powers. But a kitsune doesn't start with 9 tails. The older a kitsune gets, the more tails they get, with a maximum of 9. And the older they get, the stronger they get. So Kurama as a 9-tailed fox would represent the strongest of the kitsune. But foxes have also been connected to the goddess Inari in Japanese mythology for almost ever. And Inari is the goddess of fertility and rice, kind of like the goddess of good harvest. So the idea of foxes and temples is rather ingrained in Japanese ideology. In fact, one of the most famous temples in Japan, if not the most famous temple in Japan, the Inari Temple in Kyoto, is adorned with foxes everywhere. Now, if you know anything about the Inari Temple, you know that it's the temple with thousands of gates that lead you all the way up a mountain. It's quite the hike. Now, these Japanese gates are known as tori, and they usually exist at the entrance of a temple. For those of you who are ever hoping to travel to Japan, it's actually polite to never walk through the middle of these tori, because it's said that the gods travel through the middle of the tori. You're supposed to walk to the side and then bow once you enter and or leave. But these tori are also what Hashirama is able to drop on people or tail beasts with his god deity gates. And as Hashirama was referred to as the god of shinobi, him being able to use these godly tori kind of bolsters that claim. But what am I driving at here? Well, I think the connection between Kurama and Kitsune and Inari and Tori means that Hashirama actually should have been the Jinchuriki for Kurama. See, here's the thing. Kurama is not regarded as the hardest tailed beast to be a Jinchuriki of because the Fuinjutsu in Konoha has been incredible forever. See, the Uzumaki being chosen to be the Jinchuriki of Kurama makes a lot of sense. Kurama is by far and away the strongest out of all the tailed beasts, and therefore the strongest Fuinjutsu users on Earth. The Uzumaki are a logical choice. Tie that into the fact that they have insane chakra pools that would be able to counteract the chakra of Kurama, and they're the perfect choice. In fact, the Uzumaki clan members were referred to as the perfect Jinchuriki. Therefore, Kurama does definitely fall into the camp of was in the right place. However, instead of Mito Uzumaki, Hashirama's wife, I would have just chosen Hashirama. The healing factor he would have gained from having Kurama as his tailed beast on top of his own healing factor and the doubling of his chakra pool would have been disgusting. The only real issue would have been whether or not his wood release would have dampened his own tailed beast chakra. And if it did, well then obviously the Uzumakis were the correct choice. And that's all of the tailed beast, guys. But what do you guys think? Where do you think the tailed beast should have ended up? Tell me in the comments below.
And I think, it's as unfair as it sounds. There's a lot of good cases to be made for why people in the Hidden Leaf should have most of the tailed beasts. Matatabi, Uchiha, makes sense. Son Goku, Sarutobi, makes sense. Kurama, Uzumaki, makes sense. Dang, I forgot. What is the Chome, Aburame makes sense. And I do agree with the opinion that we should, horns and everything like that. Let's go ahead and give it to the people that control at least something horse-legged and give it to the Nara. So, that's 5 of the 9-tailed beasts in the leaf. And then, we got Isobu, Saiken, and Gyuki in the mist. So that's 3 over there. And then, dang, I'm just blanking on names right now. The one tail, why am I messing up his name right now? Whatever. It's not coming to me at all. But, the one tail should have been in the sand for sure. And then, which one are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all of them. 3 there, 5 there, and then 1 in the sand. So lightning, sorry, y'all out of luck. None of these which is surprising. None of these tail beasts actually have affinity for lightning release. Crazy. Stone, sorry. Like you said though, you could kind of maybe make a point for since you eat stone with the lava and maybe getting the 4th tail, but nah, it definitely needs to be in the leaf with the monkeys for real. So sorry, hitting stone. So really, people want to make it out with this with the mist leaf, and then the sand y'all caught y'all on anyway, so we'll just let y'all keep that. So let me know though down below what you guys think. If it should be split up like that, you agree with the even split. I think there's probably a case to even say that why you could have probably kept the other 3. There's water in the land of fire. We could have found somewhere to throw them other 3 over here, and Loki could have go ahead and take that sand one back from you really quick, and we could have probably made a case to keep them all in the leaf. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what other videos you want your boy to check out. Any other videos about him or any other anime videos in general. And if you want that top 10 list of my top 10 favorite anime that I've currently watched, I'll go ahead and drop that for you guys as well. So it's me, boy, Sean, Smooth, Black Hokage, Black Avatar, and King Leo. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell on so you guys can know when those new videos are going to drop for you. Catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm gone. Peace.